He's been kidnapped by Cobra. We have no alternative. Call in G.I. Joe.
Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. He never gives up. He'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe.
Who's leader of the Joe team? Hawk.
As America's best, he's in control. He's the man.
Good luck, Joe.
He lives his days. Legends of G.I. Joe.
The Legend of G.I. Joe. News from Marvel Comics.
Today on the channel, we're looking at the 13 original members of America's Mobile Strike Team, G.I. Joe, on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Way I Got It Figured, Sheriff back with another G.I. Joe review. This time we're looking at the 25th anniversary G.I. Joe action figure kind of set that I put together of the 13 original Joes. Over the course of, I don't know, 6-7 years it took them at Hasbro to get all of these guys out in, in original form. Some of them had to be all the way into Pursuit of Cobra. I mean, it was, it took a long time to get them all. And I had most of them. I think I mentioned, in the Torch and Ripper video that, I collected these guys with Wild Abandon for a minute before I ended up sort of letting it go so I sort of gave them up. For one thing, they didn't do all the originals, but I had all the original figures up to that point, except Rock and Roll. I actually got Rock and Roll last year, so there's a story to go kind of with a lot of these guys. Some of them are pretty expensive on the secondary market, because they came in exclusive sets that, getting them apart makes it a little harder to come by, or if you want to buy the whole set, you can do that. And in some instances, I might have wanted to do that, but I just didn't want to, I didn't have the cash to outlay. Like, I'd love to have a Mobat for Steeler here, but it wasn't to be. However, for a display, this is probably really all you need, because it doesn't take up a lot of space. And you can kind of have a dedicated display of your 13 original G.I. Joe team members. So, to go, really just kind of one by one with them. We'll start off with Clutch here. Clutch came with the Vamp in one of those sets that I mentioned. So you got your Vamp Mark 1 with some extra hoses and things that I'm pretty sure did not come on the original version. It's a very nice, very nice vehicle. And I liked when they made these guys, they made Clutch's vest separate, sort of like they did with Torch. His painted on vest was made separate on the figure. They did a lot of touches like that with these guys to sort of make them stand out. And I was very appreciative of that. Then you have Steeler. And Steeler came in also one of those sets. It came with the Mobat and everything. I couldn't find a visor for him, so he doesn't look quite like I would want him to look, but I'll eventually find one. But there you go. And a lot of people probably don't know it, but Steeler is actually the second highest ranking member of the team. At this point, he was a second lieutenant. Even though, you know, from a command perspective, Stalker sort of served as kind of a first sergeant type. Then here, back here, bringing up the rear, we've got Zap. And Zap, you know, this is a sort of stock Zap. I like how they did with the belt, though. They gave him the pistol belt, and the it's actually on backwards. That's how he comes, actually. Really, this pistol that I have here should be facing this way. Like so. But he had a lot of accessories, a couple of extra pistols, his bazooka, helmet, of course, and his rockets that actually come off the backpack. So I always thought that was cool. It's like a larger replica version of his original backpack, but with separate rockets. So that's nice, very nice. Next up, we've got Breaker. Breaker came in a 2-pack that I bought that came with him and Destro. It was a comic pack. I don't have his bubble gum here. I still have the bubble gum, but you know, the way these things fit into the backpacks, you know, they didn't really innovate that. They just gave them copies of their 82 weapons and accessories, and it'll stick in there, but it sticks up, and so the bubble gum will be sort of sticking right there. So I just left the bubble gum out. Comes with, you know, a couple of pistols. One of my favorite things they did, you know, what they've actually now continued in G.I. Joe Classified, is that they made weapons that were molded in separate weapons. But in the case of these guys, they didn't have any extra molded weapons besides maybe a knife and the grenades. They actually gave them extra weapons. So, you know, they had side arms and everything for if you know, primary weapon was out of juice or they lost it or whatever. Next up, we've got the first one that I customized to get the appearance. Short fuse. So this short fuse is actually a comic pack Duke. They made Duke in the comic pack. I forgot who he came with, but he came in a comic pack. And the colors that they gave Duke actually matched up very closely to the original colors of the original Short Fuse figure. So I took the head of Short Fuse off of the figure that he came on, which I will get to. I put it on here, and I got one of the Dollar General Dukes, who comes with this harness, who had the harness on. So I took them apart enough to take the harness off of the Dollar General Duke with the black harness and put it on Short Fuse to give him the appearance that, you know, more or less he should have. He has this very tiny head, so it's kind of weird, but you know, that's Short Fuse from one of those packs that I told you about, where, in fact, I think he came with the same one with Steeler. And just so that I don't lose the train of thought, next up we have Grunt. So Grunt is actually using Short Fuse's body. All of this is Short Fuse. Everything, it's all Short Fuse. Except that I took the head off of a Grand Slam and put it on this body because this head kind of looks like, you know, that kind of Neanderthalish look that the original Grunt figure had. So he makes, to me, a better Grunt than the one that they did. In fact, the one they did, which was one of the commanding officer figures or whatever, is like a completely different Grunt. It doesn't even look like any of the original guys. Going back to the back here a little bit, we've got Flash, or Sergeant Flash as they called him on the card. Him and Stalker got Sergeant appellations because they weren't in possession of the trademark at the time. And he does have a bit of customization. I think this is like Thunder's head that I gave him, but the hair matches, and he's gonna have his helmet on most of the time anyway. So there you go, Flash. And there's this XMLR1, which we know we're getting, and the backpack that we know we're getting with the HasLab Dragonfly, which, you know, if it gets there, because it's coming with Glenda, and, you know, we got a lot of people that are not exactly thrilled about that. I'm not one of them. I want my XMLR1. Next up, you got another slightly custom job here. So we've got Grand Slam. And this is the jetpack version. I'm not even sure if they did a HAL version, but since I don't have a HAL, it's not really all that big of a deal. And the customization that I did here is the head comes from the Pursuit of Cobra James Barney Grand Slam figure. So I just stuck it on here because I didn't want him to look exactly like Flash. Stuck his helmet on. Bada bing. There you go. Grand Slam. Then we'll come back over here, pull out good old rock and roll. No customization needed. This is the stock figure from the single card release with his light machine gun. And he does come with bullets, but, you know, I don't really need to display those there. Then we'll go to good old Stalker. When I was a kid, I had a lot of Stalkers. People would get them for me for Christmas, my birthday, whatever. And it's, you know, it just so happens that he was one of the coolest Joes anyway, so never really minded getting them. He looks good here, and they've made other decos of them. They've made in cartoon colors and that sort of thing. But I was good with this one. I've had this one since 2007, so, you know, whatever his carded release was, I've had him that long. And we'll move over here a little bit to Scarlet. This Scarlet came with the 5-pack. So this is like literally one of the first original 25th anniversary figures. She is using Agent Scarlet's crossbow from the comic pack where she came with Hawk, who's here. But I prefer the color of this Scarlet. I just gave her the silver crossbow just to spice her up a little bit. She actually comes with a black one. And here we have Hawk, G.I.Joe Commander, who is a full bird colonel. The only real customization going on with him is I'm not, he's not rocking his helmet, and I gave him an M16 rather than the XMLR3 that he comes with. But it's Hawk, original field commander of G.I. Joe, eventually bumped up to full command as a general. And last, certainly not least, we have Snake Eyes in his commando outfit, matching his appearance in the original G.I. Joe lineup. And they all have their similarities, which is one of the reasons why I enjoy collecting the original Joes anyways, because they're very similar to each other. They're almost wearing all the same uniform. It seems a lot more military. Yes, you have some outliers, but they're all still more or less wearing the same outfit. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, there you go. There's Snake Eyes. That's the guys, and of course we have the Ram Cycle, which came in, once again, one of those packs. I couldn't decide who I wanted to ride it, so I didn't put anybody on it. And then, as a bonus, special bonus, you've got who I like to call the 14th Joe, Duke. So this Duke is a mishmash of one of the second version or the first version. There were two versions of the Dollar General Duke. So what I did was I took the harness off of them, gave it to Short Fuse. It might not have been off of this one. And I took the comic pack Duke, which is Short Fuse is based off of, where it is anyway, came with the bandolier that, it's more or less is like Duke's bandolier from his, iconic outfit, and he comes with the binoculars. So I put him in a, original Joe outfit, with his bandolier and goggles, exactly what they did in the comic pack, except that, I changed the colors, made him look a little different than that. And he has a M16 with an underslung grenade launcher, just to vary him up a little bit. And so there you go, the 13 original members and the 14th. Or the 13 original known members and the 14th. So let's say first post team recruit, First Sergeant Duke as a bonus. So there you go. Hope you like this trip down memory lane with my Joes and the passion that I have for them. I wanted to always be able to honor the originals because that's where it started for me. And they were great, man. We had such fine adventures those first couple of years. So there you go. All right, guys. G.I. Joe Yo-Jo month rolls on, and this is yet another video in that series. It's a retro review. So thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe to the video, or like and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on what your experience is with G.I. Joe. Where did you come into the line? I'm an old guy. I'm gonna be 50 years old here soon. So I was there in 1982, right there. But not everybody came in when I did, And so they have a different perspective from where, their perspective starts from where they came in. So let me know how you feel about that. And yo, Joe, and everybody stay safe. See ya on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.